Welcome to FOBtv, the future of business. I'm your host, Kevin Benedict, and I want to welcome each of you to our program today. Now, this program is part of a series which I'm very excited about. We did a virtual event. The event was called Reimagining Higher Education and the University of the Future. We brought in 4 panelists to share their insights with us. Those panelists represent 3 different countries, 3 different universities, plus the giant educational publishing company, Wiley. What does all this digital transformation and impact from the pandemic, how's that going to affect the future of a university campus?
I think personally there will always be physical campus. That student feedback, that student interaction, that student connectivity, that student networking is a really, really important part. So I think there will always be the concept of physical campus. But what we're seeing, though, is learning is an incredibly personal experience for students. So I think campuses are going to have to adapt to provide different ways of learning. Students will want to do that in a way that is incredibly personal to them. That might be at a time that is more convenient to them. It might be through a channel that is more convenient to them, or through a medium that is more convenient to them. It might be one-to-one, or it might be in a small learning group, or it might be in larger cohorts. So I think what we will see in terms of the campus of the future is one that is more flexible, that is able to provide those portfolio of solutions that best meet those student needs. And ultimately, this is where we should always be focused, provide the best student experience possible. And that comes from providing a range and a portfolio of solutions. It comes from providing a range and a portfolio of channels where students can learn that content, but making it the most intuitive, rewarding, and fulfilling learning experience possible.
So that's a really interesting question. We actually just opened a new building on campus about a year before the pandemic hit. And this new building is designed from bottom to top for collaborative learning. It's all about bringing students and faculty and researchers together to work collaboratively. So I think we're going to see fewer and fewer large-scale lecture room type facilities being built. I think we're going to see more of these kinds of large-scale collaboratories and collaboration spaces being built. Our largest collaborative learning classroom now seats 460 students, but they are in tables, they are not in rows, and it's designed effectively for a flipped or inverted classroom model where the students are, again, getting the content outside of class and coming into class for that collaborative active learning. I think we're going to see more of that happening and reimagining what happens on campus around that social networking, the social construction of understanding that I think was always part of our campus and will become more part of our campus. And also for our students, again, is that exploration of professional identity, exploration of social identity, of political identity that is really important part of the university experience for them.
Yeah, it's a great question. As we're thinking about filling out phase 2 of Cornell Tech here on Roosevelt Island, we're thinking about the buildings that we want to construct and what are the classrooms and the workspaces and the libraries of the future going to be. And I think the days of big auditoriums are probably past us. That big classes, those are exactly the ones where you can't engage personally with students and are probably better done in an online asynchronous fashion. But I think finding new kinds of study spaces where students can work together in small teams and can bring in their partners from abroad, through the appropriate video technology will be something that we're going to have to think about. And we'll have to have flexible, small, reconfigurable classrooms scattered around the campus to support that and the kind of study spaces that students need. So for those of us who have an opportunity to build new buildings, I think we're going to see a lot of difference from the classic university architecture and how we conceptualize and think about the campus.
Well, the university campus of the future might not be a campus at all. And frankly, it might not even be a traditional university, or it might be a different translation of that traditional university. So myself, so many of my colleagues, we had that traditional university education, and that still has value and still provides a lot of value across the learning ecosystem. But what we've been seeing increasingly is that students need greater flexibility in their learning, help them achieve their learning goals. So it might not be a traditional 4-year degree. It might not be a traditional face-to-face on-campus learning experience. And we also know that when you look at the increased use of online non-traditional course providers like Coursera or Udemy, the boom of online programs for both undergraduate and master's degrees, and then the significant leaps in enrollment for some of the major public and nonprofit online institutions like SNU and WGU. Students are asking for more flexible ways to develop the skills they need to succeed in the workforce. And college, a traditional 4-year college on-campus experience, isn't necessarily the only pathway. And for some students, it's not even necessarily the best pathway. So when we look at specific market segments like technology, computer science, engineering, you have a lot of disruptors coming out offering short courses, modular courses, stackable credentials to really compete against the traditional university education. Google just announced a number of very low-cost certification programs in UX, data analytics, and some programming courses. So we do have, at Wiley, we have a significant number of business units, products, services, all designed to support that specific learner, especially in the areas of computer science and engineering. In other cases, you still require a 4-year degree. If you're going to become a financial analyst or a certified public accountant, you still need a 4-year degree and then some. Your path to getting that 4-year degree, your path to getting that certification is different. And so a lot of students need that flexibility. We've been partnering with universities, with online course providers, with training providers across the globe to provide different modalities and different paths to learning. So I think, again, the traditional on-campus, traditional learning experience that most of us experienced in our lifetimes is really shifting. And what students are asking for is more flexibility and more personalization in their learning experience. And then our obligation as institutions, as publishers, as developers of online programs and courseware is to also make sure that those personalized and flexible learning experiences actually deliver the results they need. So it's actually improving learning outcomes, improving student performance, and helping students truly upskill and reskill so they can succeed in whatever career they choose.